Starcrossed. We're going to be playing Starcrossed as characters from the Scythe universe. You should go check out our Facebook and or Twitter so that you can tell us which characters you want us to be. Starcrossed is a 2-player game of forbidden love. We play 2 characters who really, really want to and really, really shouldn't. And the way that is going to work, we're going to play out up to 8 scenes in which our characters interact with each other, they interact with the environment, they interact with other characters in the milieu, and eventually our tale will come to an end. The reason that I say we play up to 8 scenes is because there's this tumbling brick tower here in the center of us that we will have to be taking bricks from anytime we do something that raises the intimacy, raises the affection between the 2 characters. So that's touching the other character or revealing personal information. So anytime we do those like very substantive actions, we have to pull a brick and put it on top. If at any point the tower falls, the game ends immediately, and based on the number of stars that we've filled in representing our affection, we get to play out an epilogue. If we do make it all the way to the end of the game, we finish scene 8 and the tower hasn't fallen yet, we get to experience a different epilogue in which our characters never actually communicate their desires to each other. They never act on their desires. They go their separate ways, and the affection level doesn't matter at all because we're just completely repressed human beings. I mentioned the poll. Oh, this game is designed by Alex Roberts, a fantastic human and fantastic game designer, and we met her at Origins this year. We had a chance to sit down for a Jenga interview with her, at which she totally schooled us because, I mean, she designed a game with a tumbling brick tower at the core of it. So if you want to head over to our YouTube channel, you can watch that interview. Like I said, she's fantastic and loves to make games like this where you're exploring interpersonal dynamics. Other concepts related to StarCrossed. So Jacob and I each have little pads in front of us. I am the lead. Jacob is the follow. Mm-hmm. So that has implications for how we're allowed to interact. The lead acts intentionally. The lead acts very purposefully. So my ability to reveal personal information and or touch Jacob's character is intentional. I can do that intentionally once per scene. If I want to act unintentionally, without thinking, impulsively, accidentally, something like that, I can only do that once per game. The follow is exactly the opposite. The follow can act unintentionally once per scene, accidentally blurting out information or touching the other character without even realizing that they're doing it, so on and so forth. But if they want to act intentionally, they can only do that once per game. It's important roles that will sort of define our dynamic throughout the course of the experience, and is also reflected in how the scenes play out. So every scene, the lead will start. They'll have the first what are called moves, and the follow will end. So scenes play out basically as long as the follow allows, essentially. If at any point the follow, or more specifically us, because we're going to be collaborating and talking about where we want this to go, decide that a scene should end, the follow will take the last move, and we'll move on to the next scene. I think that's about it. Okay, do we want to check out the poll?
Let's talk a little bit about the world first.
Okay. Go to the poll.
Yeah, go to the poll.
Fill out the poll.
So the world of Scythe is pretty much some would be called diesel punk. Pretty much what happened is that at the end of World War One, it was ended with Nikola Tesla creating these giant-ass mechs in the factory in the middle of Europe. And now, after like this war-torn continent is just like trying to recover, like their factions vying for control of the factory. And I mean, it's you've probably seen some of the artwork. It's absolutely gorgeous, and they're like giant mechs. You've got still like horseback cavalry and that kind of stuff. So you know, technology of like World War One, with like people on giant ass stilts herding sheep and things like that. So pretty interesting world, and we are going to whoever we're playing.
Ginger ale.
Whoever we're playing, we're going to be pretty much the leaders or like the people within the different factions, and those people will be we're enemies pretty much.
Yeah.
Enemy factions vying for the same control. Hence why we really shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, that's I think like pretty much a good summary of the world.
Yeah.
So who have we got?
All right, so let's take a look. Last chance. I'm about to look at it right now. I'm going to refresh the page one more time in 5, 4.
Well, they got the 30-second delay
3.
anyway.
Oh, shit. Okay, do it now. I'm just kidding. All right, so refreshing the thing. View results. Okay, and we're going to increase these by 2 votes because
Amanda's
Amanda gave
voted
us her
in
votes
person.
in person. So, with 3 votes, Gunter von Duisburg locks up first place, and with 2 votes, Anna from the Polonia Republic. We had a lot. There were like 80%. I don't know how to do math. Like 80% of the characters had votes, so we had a pretty split situation here.
Interesting. Cool.
All right, so Gunter von Duisburg and Anna, who doesn't get a last name, which is kind of bullshit. Actually, the art book has more elaborate backstories for these people. So.
Yeah. So, which one do we want to start with?
Go ahead and start with Anna. She's first.
Cool. Anna was born into a long line of intellectuals and diplomats. After her parents died in the war, she moved in with her grandfather, a former soldier and avid hunter. He raised her and taught her how to shoot a gun. Over time, Anna became an expert marksman. On a hunting excursion with her grandfather, Anna discovered a mother bear who had died in a trap. Huddled next to the bear was a young bear cub. Taking pity on the animal, Anna scooped him up in her arms and took him home, much to the dismay of her grandfather. Anna and Wojtek, as she named the bear, quickly became inseparable. They even developed a form of communication using sign language. When Anna grew up, she decided to use her marksmanship to aid her country. Wojtek joined her as she enlisted in the newly formed reconnaissance troops in the Polonia army. Together, they traveled across the countryside, becoming living legends as they distinguished themselves in battle, showed compassion for even the poorest farmer. When the factory shut down and rumors swirling around a growing Rusviet force, Anna and Wojtek accepted a mission to ensure the unity and independence of Polonia by securing the eastern border and patrolling the land around the factory.
Okay.
Would you like to read Gunter?
Sure. Gunter grew up in a wealthy aristocratic family known for the dire wolves they bred and sold across the country. As a young boy, he traveled with his father across Africa, where he developed excellent hunting skills and an interest in archaeology. With a strong love of his country, Gunter enlisted in the Saxon army. He spent the first few years of service training soldiers to work with dire wolves, where he formed a kinship with 2 particular wolves, Nacht and Tag, night and day. When the war began, Gunter and his wolves led elite mech squads across the forest and mountains of Saxony and Europe. His name was both feared and respected, and his jacket grew heavy with medals of honor. After the war, the Saxon emperor sought an audience with Gunter, Nacht, and Tag. I like that the emperor sought an audience with the wolves as well.
Yep.
He asked them to go on a special mission to the east, where he saw an opportunity to expand to the unclaimed lands surrounding the factory. Gunter was never one to turn down an adventure, so off he went to the east. So, that's who we're playing. We've got those 2 characters.
Yep.
It sounds like either of them could be the lead. As we were describing them, I was trying to think if there were any aspects of them that seemed like they lent themselves more towards one being the follow versus one being the lead. But I think it could go either way.
Like to play.
I mean, part of me wants to play Gunter, but also part of me wants to have the chance to say Gunter more often. So
It's Gunter.
I am going to play Gunter, though, because I suspect you'll want to play the person from Polonia.
Oh god, I have to listen to Jacob do a voice. God help me.
Alright, so I am Gunter von Duisburg. So the way that these character sheets work, there's sort of a progressive character creation process. in the beginning, you ask the question, who am I? And so in this particular case, we have names, but in a more independently formatted game where you're not relying on an established IP, those could just be roles. They could be 2 nuns in a convent. They could be Galactic Empress and her royal vizier. Those are 2 of the examples from the rulebook. You can kind of run any which way on it, but it's not necessary for your characters to actually have names. Next, what is my most attractive feature? Well, I have to look at the picture of myself.
You say it's that sweet ass red beard.
So I was actually kind of leaning towards the beard.
So that or the wolves.
Seems like something. I think the wolves.
I think that's illegal even in post-apocalyptic World War One.
Fair enough.
I am going to go with the beard. I have a very full beard, which I'm a big fan of.
Yes, you do.
So this question, what is my most attractive feature, is answered from our own perspective. And it doesn't actually have to be something physical. It can be your laugh. It could be your sense of humor. It could be your kindness. Things like that. And then there's another question. What are 2 things about me that I don't realize are attractive? And these are answered by the other player.
Ah, interesting.
So you now have a chance to answer what you think is the most attractive thing about yourself.
All right. I'm going to go for the fiery red hair.
Okay, yeah, that checks out.
All right.
And then so now you have 2 things about me that I don't realize are attractive. And again, physical, non-physical, doesn't matter.
Let's see. We'll go with a knack for stories.
Okay. That's a good one.
And let's see. Let's see.
Dead ass. It's hard to see dead ass on account of the coat, but that's
Yeah,
I
a little bit. I think
guac is very sweet.
Yeah, I did not get a spicy guac. I got a mild guac because I'm a weak ass bitch.
I mean, that's fine. It's just like even mild guacs, their sweetness is unexpected. Although it might be coming from the hint of lime on the chips now that I think about it.
probably a bit. I think I'll say the relationship with your wolves, just like how well integrated that is, and like how you're able to understand them that well, and all that kind of stuff.
And
Yeah, there you go.
wolves. Okay.
Alrighty.
So for you,
Yep.
I'm going to say your determination.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to go slightly superficial.
Yep.
I'm going to answer this from the perspective of my character.
Yep.
Your scar. You seem to have a scar over your left cheek. And yeah, I think that would be pretty enthralling for Gunter.
Cool.
All right. Next up, why can't I act on my feelings?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, we're from rival empires.
Yep.
I think is the easy answer. We could flesh that out a little bit more. Like, I'd be tried for sedition or something.
Yeah.
I'll probably go with. I am going to keep it simple. I'm going to say, Anna is from a rival empire because there's a follow-up question to this. Why is this important to me? And dedication to the Saxon Empire is something that I value higher than like my own life.
All right. And I'm also going to go pretty simple with the why, which is going to be also Gunter is from Saxony. But my reason why that's important to me is because it was the Saxon dire wolves who killed my parents.
Oh no! Oh no, knocked and togged.
Not only, you remember, you're from a family that breeds them.
Oh no, I'm just saying. If dire wolves killed your parents, there's a decent chance that you're not going to respond well to my wolves. This could become a flashpoint later on.
Alrighty. I think our character sheets are pretty much done.
I believe it is. So, next up, in order to set the stage, we have to remove 3 bricks each.
3 bricks each.
Yep.
And we have to. Are we playing actual Jenga rules?
So the game does specify. So, setting up, characters, building the tower. Okay. To pull a brick, use one hand. To remove it, then place it on top of the tower, continuing upward in alternating rows. Okay. You cannot remove bricks from the top 2 completed rows. Never touch the tower with more than one hand at a time. Don't pass the brick from one hand to the other. You can take any brick that is beneath at least 2 completed rows of brick. Okay. You can like poke around to find an easy brick.
Yep.
But you're not allowed to touch it with more than one hand at a time.
Let's see. Then I'm gonna go. Easy. This one.
So for all of you watching at home, you're welcome to like throw things out in terms of ideas for the scenes that we go on, and we'll announce the scenes ahead of time, and we'll be deliberating about them for a bit. So,
ready
to chime in.
I'm worse at this than I expected.
No. Cheese?
Cheese.
Yes, I'm just going through my flavor book that Jacob so nicely gave me. Going like, okay, I'm just writing a list of flavor combinations I'm excited about before I even try.
Yeah,
This is a very tight Jenga tower.
that's what she said. Yep.
Alright.
Also, I would say that this down here got precarious very fast, but one of the bricks that we pulled is this one, which is like visibly smaller than the others, so it wasn't really doing much for us to begin with.
Nope.
In terms of stabilization.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, but she left it with just 2 because it would amuse me.
Okay, so this is the last one for setup.
Dang. I'll like knock this tower over during setup. No stars.
Yeah. I mean, actually, though, yeah. We'd just be like, well, that's it. That's the game, everybody. Pack it in. Good show. Good show.
New poll, let's go.
All right, so we have our tower, and this is the state of the game as it exists at the start of the game. Now, we have scene number 1, an introduction. So, I mean, I think this is pretty obvious. I think we encounter each other somewhere in the countryside as we're sort of moving around, doing our scouting, reconnaissance, or what have you.
Okay.
I mean, do we need more setup than that?
Let's give it a terrain type.
Okay.
Go into the forest and the mountains and the fields.
Isn't there a term for like where a forest gives way to like a plains? Like specifically that boundary?
There probably is, I just don't know.
So I'm basically imagining like basically a plains but with some like scrubland like scrubby trees.
Yeah, okay.
As
so
opposed to just grasses. And
Gotcha.
So all right, so I'm the lead, which means I take the first move. So I describe my character's one of the things that I can do, what I'm choosing to do, is to describe my character's movements.
Mm-hmm.
So Gunter sort of stalks low through the underbrush. This is new territory for him, so he's proceeding very cautiously. The wolves are not with him at the moment. They're sort of off a ways, doing some scouting of their own. So he's going to be sort of like slinking slowly through the underbrush.
Okay.
And that's so that's my move. Is describing my character's movements, and that's a free action. I don't have to touch the tower to do that.
Yep. Now it's my turn to make a move, and the move is also going to be. I am going to give a chance to describe the environment here, and it's not really the movement. So currently, Anna is pretty much in the fields, and around her are, you see in the slight distance, like some of the scrublands and the forest and all that, and immediately to her left and right are a few farmhouses, and you see that these fields have recently been harvested. They have the hay bales all there, and you see some of the new agricultural kind of tools, like these giant like mechs that have been used to like reap the harvests, just almost cooling down for the afternoon. They've just finished this as a chill like runs through the air.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So, okay, all right. Well, it's been established then that I see it. So, having spotted her, I'm going to start moving. Or Gunter is going to start.
She's also sitting on Wojtek.
On top of Wojtek. Okay, that does complicate my deliberations here.
Wojtek, for those of you who don't know, is a bear.
It's a bear. It's super cool.
While Greg is deliberating, I'll tell you guys a story. Wojtek is actually based on an actual bear that joined the Polish army, I believe during World War One. It was a very similar story to what it said here, where it was like they found a bear cub and they trained him up, and he was actually used to carry munitions on behind the lines. Like they would like strap munitions to him. He would be there with his like group and everything like that. There's a whole memorial to him in Warsaw and everything. So
that's really funny.
It is based on an actual bear that actually existed.
So I see you, and are there other people in the fields, or is it just you, sort of amongst these like mostly empty fields?
Mostly empty.
Mostly empty. Okay. In that case, I am going to approach. You're fairly obvious as A, the only like human in the area, and B, on a bear. That's kind of a big deal. So I'm going to quicken my pace a little bit.
Okay.
And try to approach stealthily from whatever is behind you at the moment.
Okay. Interesting. So. So having, she's currently sitting on top of Wojtek, the chill in the air, like she shivers a little bit and pats the brown bear on the side, and you see on her back a gun, and she looks around for a moment, not really noticing much. Looks back at to the town. And is currently like turning around and looking towards the town, the opposite direction of the scrublands.
Okay. I'm going to say by this point, I have gotten to within like a distance where I could have a shouting conversation with her, hypothetically. So I'm going to move a little bit closer. And I'm going to raise my own gun. And so this is another rule. if you want to give a line of dialogue, you have to be touching the tower.
Yep.
So, obviously, the more precarious this gets,
The more dangerous
the more
dialogue
dangerous the
gets.
dialogue gets. So I'm gonna raise my own gun, and I'm basically gonna say, "Freeze! What is your purpose here?" I don't know what voice that is. I should probably stop doing accents. You can all just imagine that he's speaking. Saxony is like Germany, right?
Germany,
Yeah.
German
You can
accent.
imagine that I have a reasonably heavy German accent.
German accents aren't that hard.
Yeah, I could probably pull one off, but it would be wandering. All my accents are wandering.
I mean, for the purposes of this, you're not doing historical accuracy here.
Right.
If you sound like a cartoon.
I'm doing Mecha German,
Oh my God.
actually.
Greg!
You wanted me to be the Polish woman?
No, I called you Grant.
Oh, I didn't even. I totally missed
Wrong G name.
it. You didn't call me Jacob.
Yes.
Leslie called me Jacob multiple times while we were at Origins.
Yep.
That's less bothersome. If I call you Jacob, we have a problem.
Right. That's fair.
Alrighty. So, Anna tenses. And without turning around, Toto, who are you and what do you want here? I am here exploring, of course.
I'm trying to think of. So you can only give a line of dialogue on your turn, which means it does have to be like in addition to some other regular move.
Well, I don't think it does have to be in addition to.
Well, it's so this is a little bit unclear. So it says.
Well, I mean,
it's,
I guess
it's an addition you can make to your move.
okay.
You can add it to any move. So you do still have to perform a move on your turn.
True, but that could even be a free move, like describing your character's movements or
Right.
concealment.
And I'm just trying to think about like ways that I can do that beyond just delivering the line of dialogue.
Yes.
So. Sorry, what did you ask me? I got distracted by the mechanics of the game. Rule check.
Pretty much asked you, like, who are you and what are you doing here?
Alright, so Gunter sort of continues to hold the rifle. She's clearly got a gun.
Mhm.
She's clearly riding a bear.
Also, she is currently facing away from you.
I know, but she's clearly got a gun. She's clearly riding a bear. This is a very competent, very dangerous individual, and I am not about to like let my guard down. But I do sort of soften my stance a little bit, given that you didn't immediately whip around and try to like level your gun at me as well. So I call back. My name is Gunter von Duisburg. I am also exploring.
Hannah doesn't move too much at the moment. You see a little bit, see her relax her shoulders a bit and then turn her head slightly. And as she does, Wojtek, przygotuj się. Well, Gunter, it seems that we have no quarrel, do we?
Laughing at us.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's
Isn't
fair.
that my
That's
job?
fair.
Isn't that why I'm
You
here?
know that's exactly
That
why
is
you're
exactly
here,
why
too.
you're here.
Yes, thank you very much.
Why didn't you all tell me so I could have like prepared myself in the car for this nonsense?
Because this way your reaction is more natural.
I hate you both.
That's fair.
Fair.
Even all my tips.
This is the first one I had.
Yeah, sorry, I've had like half a dozen. It's a good chip spread. trying to think about ways to like describe the environment, but I keep thinking of nothing. So that's
She's currently looking at you out of the side of her eye, just like you can see like profile and just her eye, like
right. Something. I don't know. Maybe something about the sort of kindred spirit, the explorer, adventurer. Something in the back of Gunter's mind says like, you know what? She's right. You don't seem to have any quarrel. So he is gonna lower his gun. Like, it seems not. Would you care to come down off your bear and speak?
at this point, as soon as you lower your gun, you notice the bear. And you notice that
I missed the bear before.
well, no, but you notice that he had been like tensed and like almost ready to like charge.
Okay.
And as you lower the gun, you can see even the bear relax a little bit.
Okay.
And you said care to come down, right?
Yeah.
She glances over at you, and then now that I no longer have a gun pointing at my back, yes. And she slides down off of the brown bear.
Did you give me your name?
No.
You just said you're an explorer.
Mm-hmm.
So now that she's at like not on the back of a bear, I am going to step forward cautiously, but like I'm not afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Bear seems to relax. And Alright. So an explorer, eh? What are you exploring for?
She pats Wojtek on the shoulder area and looks you up and down. The same thing that most are exploring for, isn't that right? It seems that with the war being over, it's more valuable than ever to have certain technology.
So Gunter nods slowly. There's two possible conclusions sort of forming. But Gunter's also a very direct person, so he's just going to come out with it. Valuable in terms of profit or valuable in terms of state interests?
You see a small smile pass by her face. Why not both?
Gunter cracks a smile back. This is definitely the most entertaining conversation he's had in several months. Nacht and Tag are great company, and they're good for keeping warm, but they can't hold a conversation very well. Nor can any of the villagers that he's interacting. So his smile broadens. He says, fair enough. Given that we are both exploring, would you be interested in exploring together?
She looks a little bit surprised at that. And eyes you up and down.
I guess, yeah, it is probably worth noting. I'm very clearly wearing a Saxon military uniform.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Well, hang on, hand me your
Okay.
thing. Because your outfit is a little bit more sort of generic, like adventurer-y, right?
Sort of. Yes. I mean, like it's actually very similar. It's more of a Polish military uniform. Kind
Okay,
of
and you
thing.
do have the stripe, and you've got the beret.
Yeah, and on the beret is the symbol of the Polish resistance.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I don't walk it back. No, sorry.
What two goobers am I listening to according
So
to
this
this
is
book?
this is
Yep.
Jacob.
Oh yes, no, I know.
And
I remember what Gunter looks like. I just yep.
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 Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Anna, like, stiffens a bit and says, "But if we are both going for the same thing, wouldn't that cause a problem later on? Or would we rather just part ways here before any issues happen?"
Gunter considers for a bit, and is a little bit taken aback a bit. It's obviously not outright hostility, but there's definitely it's more guarded, I guess, than he expected. He says, "You know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to intentionally reveal some personal information."
Okay. That means you gotta pull one, right?
It does mean I have to pull one, so sucks.
Oh man. Oh man. He's being daring.
Thing. That would have been a 1-star ending.
I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna say, oh right, shit, I have to touch the tower. Oh, I just made it so bad for myself.
God damn it, Greg.
Fuck. All right. I'm not automatically opposed to issues. Have it your way, pretty lady. And I back away slowly.
Okay.
Figuratively and literally.
Hey, this lady knows what I'm talking about. Gunter hasn't gotten laid in months.
I meant the Jenga tower, but yes, also I guess
sure.
also in the context of the story.
Okay.
And you are also the follow, so you have total control. I mean,
Over
obviously,
when it ends. Yeah.
we can have a conversation about it, but
Mhm.
ultimately, you have unilateral control.
Yes. At this point, Anna laughs a little bit and says, "As much as traveling might not be the best idea, how about a drink?" And pulls out a flask that she has on her from her bag.
Okay.
Actually, from one of Wojtek's pouches.
Mm-hmm. I guess we're also just sort of speaking some sort of pan-European language.
Yeah.
Hand wave.
Hand wave.
Esperanto.
Right.
We understand each other. We have
understand
Babelfish.
each other.
Except for the parts where I actually spoke in Polish.
Right, exactly.
Can confirm Polish is nothing.
Yes. Very much.
Gunter laughs again heartily and stops backing up. Says, "All right, now you're speaking my language." And steps forward. "Excuse you." Gunter is very smooth. Thank you very much.
You're hitting on my boyfriend.
Hey, he proposed the drink.
I'm technically the game.
It's true. He did. He was the one who really pushed for it.
For this game?
For this game, yeah.
Because we're giving this to our friend Meenal, and so I wanted to at least have a chance to try it out before we did that, because she's coming next week. So
She get in on Wednesday?
yes,
Yeah.
or no, Thursday,
Thursday.
the 4th. She's getting in on
Thursday.
the 4th, so that's Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. Anna pulls out two pretty much like little folding metal cups. Pours a little bit for herself. Puts it like balances a little bit on like one of Wojtek's harnesses. Pours another one for Gunter. Hands it and says, "Rivals in exploration may not always be rivals." Cheers.
Those fucking coasters.
I meant to try and make a clink, but I failed miserably.
No
Just
worries.
flick it.
There you go.
Good job, you're that from all the way over there.
Hey.
I mean, there's another mic right there.
Yeah. So, do we want to play out the conversation, the rest of the conversation, and the drinks themselves, or do we want to sort of?
I was
skip
feeling
ahead?
like we would skip ahead. I think that this is the point. Like,
Well, then you raise a glass of cheers,
yes,
and then I think that's the scene.
I think so. I would say yes.
Okay. All right, so that's the end of scene 1.
Mm-hmm.
Scene 2, a little embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of embarrassment over here.
Careful, don't break the book.
And don't knock over the tower.
I don't know. Amanda might want to knock.
Right, that's the yeah. All right, so a little embarrassment.
I have some ideas for this one.
So how far? What are you thinking? How far in the future do we want to advance? Is it just later? That
Not
night?
too far. Yeah, actually, my thought is your wolves haven't joined us yet, have they?
I hadn't called them in yet. No, they're probably not too far away. They're probably watching me,
Probably.
being like this bitch.
Mhm.
But
I'm gonna eat that
But
from
yes,
there.
that's gonna be my thought right now.
okay. So later on, couple drinks in, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Evening is starting to set.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Given that, I say. Okay. So yeah. I guess since it's still the same basic place,
Mm-hmm.
and we are still out in the open. So in describing the environment, that little chill that had started to set in has definitely kicked up
Mm-hmm.
as the sun has gone further down. The wind has picked up a little bit as well, kind of rustling through the. I don't know what cereals do they grow in wherever this factory is.
Yeah, it's likely wheat.
Wheat, wind rustling through the wheat, and I say, ooh, it's a bit chilly. Boys, come in. Gesture to my wolves.
Okay. Anna is currently sitting on the ground, or she found like a little bit of a rock, and Wojtek has laid down behind her, and she's a little bit like deep in the
Cozy.
fur of the bear.
Yeah, that's legit.
And as soon as she sees Noct is a black wolf, and what's the other one? Tog is a bright white wolf.
That's true.
She sees the two forms, like one a shadow of the other almost, sprinting from behind, like wherever they were, like watching from, and jumps immediately, like, almost as if she was fully just sobered up, jumps, gun out, tracking the wolves. And call off your wolves. Call them off.
Whoa! Hey! I didn't shoot your bear. You don't shoot my wolves, eh? It's all right. They're trained. They're fine, boys. Come on, slowly, apparently. And they sort of slowly meander their way and kind of like circle around the back of me and like not threatening at all. I've given them. I'm clearly in a good mood. Maybe until just now, but there's no teeth baring. There's no hackles up. They're very chill. They just kind of circle back and like stare at you like, what?
Anna's clearly tense. She has not, like, with every step that the wolves took towards them, towards this group, she either tensed up more or like moved closer and closer to Wojtek, who has now risen from behind her and is also eyeing the wolves. Not quite baring his teeth, but like you can tell that he's measuring exactly where they are at any given moment.
Sure.
And Wojtek gives out a little bit of a growl. But no, Wojtek. They're too young. He's too young. Couldn't have been him. And with that, I'm actually unintentionally.
I was gonna say, yeah, that sounds like an unintentionally
giving away some information.
piece of personal information. Yeah.
So
check that star.
Yep. Let me do that first.
Fill that star. Pauladino. I saw that face.
I gotta make a fried pecan pie for my child.
How many sticks of butter?
I don't know yet. I didn't actually read the recipe. I was more just
12.
Correct, probably. Yeah, we measure out butter by, like, most people buy the boxes that have 4 sticks. We just take that thing and it's 1 block and we peel off wax paper and throw it in.
Huck it in, sure. Industrial butter.
Oh yeah. Salted all the way butter should be.
Really?
I like salted butter.
Interesting. I've heard from a lot of people that salted butter is not good to use because, well,
for baking, I thought it was really bad to use
because it throws off your the salt.
Because you don't know how much salt is in each piece of salted butter.
For cooking, I guess it's probably more generous.
I mean, having tasted both salted and unsalted butter, I cannot taste much difference between them. So, especially I went to a French cooking school, which is like more salt, more fat, more acid.
Did you just like on a stick of butter?
No, but I eat a lot of bread with butter because I'm a basic bitch.
I mean, hey.
All right.
Bread with butter is delicious. Have you ever had a toast sandwich? It's a slice of toast in between slices of bread.
You mean a devil's hoagie or whatever the
Sure. I mean, yeah, I just call it the struggle bus. But, I actually don't have a toaster, so I've never had a toast sandwich.
You've never had a toast sandwich. God damn it, Greg.
Okay, all right, yeah. So that was some interesting information that I have just I don't know what to do with it. I don't know exactly what it means, but I know it means something. I say what do I say? I mean, yeah. So you're clearly tense. And like Gunter's a fun-loving guy, but he's also not like super an asshole.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of puts his hands up, says, "Okay, I mean maybe we've had a good night. You know, if the wolves make you uncomfortable, I can go."
Hannah looks back to Gunter, pretty much noticing him for almost the first time since the wolves started approaching. her rifle. Not yet putting it away.
Right. I assume we're also like across a campfire from each other.
Pretty
That's
much.
sort of the spacing that I'm imagining.
Yep. Yep, just about. Like even either across it or like catty cornered-ish kind of thing. She looks around a bit and see that she's thinking a moment. These ones, they seem trained. You train them?
He kind of chortles a little bit. It's like, well, I should hope they seem trained. I did train them, yes.
Her eyes don't leave you as she stares. Like she's like staring in like an icy cold stare almost through you.
Mm-hmm.
And where does one get such wolves to train in such a great way?
Such a quick way? Is that
Great.
Great way. Oh. I mean, they run wild in the forests of Saxony. You can just you can scoop up a litter and domesticate them that way. Or, I mean, obviously, I come from a long line of breeders, and sort of we have pedigrees and things like that.
At this, she snaps her eyes back into focus at you. Breeders? Breeders, you said? Breed and train the wolves for Saxon?
Yes?
You see her gun twitch a little bit in the upward direction. She murmurs something under her breath.
I guess, should that count as intentionally revealing something? Since
That?
I've just like, yeah, since I have told you explicitly that I breed wolves for, like, the Saxon Empire. That seems like a pretty important piece of information.
Yeah, that probably would count as like an intentional
Okay.
thing. But that does mean you have to pull a block.
Right. Because I also, like, I'm not going to hide it. Like, he's a pretty guileless individual.
Mm-hmm.
What have we done to this tower already? Scene 2. Nope.
If we play this again, we gotta use our Jenga tower.
Much more forgiving.
I mean,
Oh, there we go.
We know it a little bit better.
Easy peasy. I must admit, it's interesting compared to the one that we use for like Jenga interviews and stuff. I feel like the wood on this one is a little bit more unfinished. Like
Yeah.
you can feel the grain,
Yeah.
which I feel like means they grab each other more.
Oh, for sure.
Which is
That's exactly what it feels like.
Well,
You're right there.
Did you really pick up the tower over Greg?
I didn't. Pulling the plug.
Go home, Greg. You're drunk.
It's Gunter who's drunk.
I've had 0 ginger beer.
There isn't even any alcohol
I
in
know.
this.
You ever had Reed's premium ginger beer? It's in a little green bottle.
No, I've seen it at the grocery store. I did.
My favorite brand. I picked some up at Whole Foods one time and I had it at the office, and my boss was like, on the clock? I'm like, no.
It just means it's less sugar and more of a gingery punch in the face.
Yes. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. Anna, at this point, is starting to pack up all of her things. Like wrapping up a bit and says, Or no, she's not yet. That's false.
Seems like she'd be within expectations.
No, but there's reasons for other things.
Oh, it's the beard. On.
So, it's subtle, but you do notice it as Anna and Wojtek have like slightly shifted in position. In that where Wojtek used to be pretty much parallel to the fire, like with and comfortably leaning into his the mid part of his body. Now they're both a little bit more head on.
Sure. Okay, leaning into it. All right.
Mm-hmm. And Anna at this point, and you say your family has been doing this for generations? Been breeding wolves and sticking them on innocent people?
Well, no, not as such. The family just breeds them. Sell them to aristocrats hunting. A lot of them. I'm the first to join the army.
He relaxes a little bit. Eyes both of the wolves very warily. And so you are the first to have joined the war. Seems at least Saxon armies have had many of these beasts at their sides.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I work with other soldiers who work closely with dire wolves. I imagine that's been happening for a while. I feel our pleasant evening seems to have taken on the tone of an interrogation. Have I done something?
She looks at you a little bit sort of sheepish, but also still very much on the defensive.
A little embarrassed.
A little bit embarrassed.
Hey. Title drop. Name of the scene.
And
Trying to work.
Oh, that's a mistake.
that was a big mistake.
I'm a goddamn professional.
And rummages through a pouch on her side, unfolding a paper, and looks at it for a moment. You ever worked with the von Liebig family?
sort of surprise registers across his face. Not really anything else. Just kind of like mild, like, oh, worked with. No, they're rival breeders. That's a very specific name. I wouldn't have expected that name to be known outside of Saxony.
It relaxes quite a bit more. I'm glad you're not one of them. There are reasons that I know that name. As she says that, she like grits her teeth. Personal reasons.
Sure. Well, I won't pry. But I mean, you can trust these wolves. I personally trained them. I vouch for them. They are my constant companions, as Wojtek, I'm sure, is yours.
At this, she cracks a little bit of a smile and says, fair enough, I do travel with a bear. Others do travel with other companions. I don't know if I would be getting on very friendly terms with them, but let's have another drink. And she pours another little bit of liquor for both. And I think at that point, neat.
All right. That's a little embarrassment out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Finding common ground.
All right.
So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we skip ahead a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, so I feel like we have actually been traveling. Like, I don't know. That just seems like the trajectory that we were sort of on, even though you had said at the outset that that wasn't something you wanted to do. I don't know. What do you think about it?
I feel like it's more that it's been a little while, but like as much as we didn't start like just traveling together at that point, we since we have similar goals, we have run into each other once or twice again, and this might be like the third or fourth run-in.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, that makes. Sorry, everybody. I had to rinse my hands, get the hint of lime off.
It never comes off.
I know it's so. Yeah. I just don't want to like get the tower all sticky.
Yeah, he says like he's not gonna reach back into the bag in about 15 minutes or so. I'm the peanut gallery.
I don't need this from you. Yeah, you're supposed to be laughing at
I'm
Gunter.
an integral part of this channel.
That's
Fair.
Okay, so yeah, all right, we've re-encountered each other.
Now, what are the circumstances of us re-encountering each other? We do have other characters to play with too.
You mean the? Oh, you mean the other explorers that we?
There are others.
That's true. That's true. Actually, I kind of like that idea. All right, who's someone we both hate? Olga.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that
Definitely someone I hate.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're I don't know. We're at a different village, somewhere.
Are we at a village or are we somewhere else that there's a decent amount of technology?
Well, so I was thinking about that. I was looking through. I think, and this is maybe pre-gaming a little bit, but I think it would be cool for a disagreement becomes heated, scene 6, to take place at the factory.
Yeah,
I think
at the
that should be.
No, I think that's probably a good idea for the factory, but I'm just thinking like this may have just been a depot of some sort that has like some kind of like technology thing where
Yeah, that works. Yeah, all right. Some. Yeah. Depot, maybe like a service center.
An abandoned kind of service center.
Yeah. Like a mech Jiffy Lube.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So let's say we have already encountered each other, and we start the scene like together.
Okay.
And so we're sort of catching up. Chuckle anecdote, things like that. It's we'll say that the seasons have drawn on. Winter has really set in now. It's not like blizzard conditions, but the snow definitely blankets just about everything. And honestly, we're sort of just lingering inside this depot as much to like conserve heat with these 3 large furry creatures as we are to actually like catch up and enjoy each other's company. So I think that's sort of the opening.
Okay.
Oh, that was my turn. I described a detail of the character's environment.
Cool.
I can't reach back in to get the chips. I can't prove you right.
Needs to be 20 minutes.
It hasn't even been 5.
Greg. I'm always right. Jacob knows this.
No, point 1, your girlfriend is always right.
Right.
Point 2, if your girlfriend is not right, look back at point 1. All right, so. And throughout the few times that you've met, like she's been sort of getting a little bit more acclimatized to your 2 companions. And this time, like, you guys are sitting around, you have like not really much of a fire because there's no real chimney here or anything like that, but you're in here to like get a little bit of respite from the wind. And as you're huddled around, she reaches her hand out just close enough so that Tog can smell it.
Yay! This is very exciting. Gunter is overjoyed, and it plays across his face, but he's also very, like, he gets it. This is not the 3rd time, this is like the 4th time that you guys have interacted. He gets it. It's a big deal. So he's not saying anything. He's just watching. He's just like... Except more subtly.
It's like behind knocked.
Yeah. You're next. They're good dogs, Brent.
Goobers.
Tog just carefully smells Anna's hand, and his tongue comes up and just gives it a lick, and she pulls back a little bit, like in surprise. It's like,
Cool.
no doubt. Wow, that was surprising.
Well, not so bad, huh? He likes you. They both like you. However, at that, immediately they both get really like
Tense.
They tense up and they turn towards we'll say like a side door or something, and they both kind of like, they're not pointers, but that kind of like hunting dog like behavior. They both turn towards the door, and Gunter will follow suit. He knows the wolves. He's worked with them closely enough, long enough. He knows what that means. And so immediately his gun's in his hand. He's pointing at the door.
Anna, seeing this reaction, of course, you're not even facing this way, but she just, her gun is also off of her back immediately, and there's no, like, Wojtek is also on high alert. Yeah, he's, they're both looking at the door, but she's glancing at any other opening.
Gunter calls out, "We know you're there, whoever you are. Better for you if you come out now, slowly." And there is like a scrape of metal as the door slides open. Olga steps through. Changa's a tiger, by the way, a full-on Siberian tiger.
Yep.
Like as big as Wojtek.
The giant ass tiger.
Changa is visible behind her and tense, but not like barreling through the door.
Wojtek's nose just he can smell Changa behind the door. He's got his teeth baring at the door, not moving because he hasn't been told, but just ready to pounce. Olga, what are you doing here?
Oh shit! I was just gonna call her Rosviet because I have no idea who this is. He says to himself. No, yeah, I think I'm not exactly sure how we want to play this because having a dialogue with a third character seems like it would be cumbersome.
Fair enough.
But either way, Olga, I think we can kind of just talk it out. So Olga,
I think that makes sense.
Is not like aggressive, but she's also not backing down. She's ready for the confrontation. She basically says like, I just came in to find a place out of the cold. I didn't mean to intrude on whatever this is here. And then, does that count as my turn? This is why I asked if it's cumbersome. So, you know what I mean?
I think you can then react to that because I think that's almost like describing a scene.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
all right.
That's almost because I would say that
That's a detail.
third person and things like that. That's details of the environment almost.
Okay, that's fair.
That would be how I would play it.
All right. Okay. Well, in that case, reacting to that conversation, Gunter says, well, as you can see, we're full up, so it's best if you just move along now, Rosviet.
At this, smile crosses Olga's face.
I don't like that at all.
And she says, but I see enough room here, and some other adventurers looking for things that might not be theirs. I think I might stay, but if you would like to leave, be my guest.
Who's got stomach? Who's got stomach faces?
I'd be like, in front of my salad? No, all right, and no, yeah, that's your description of her thing, so you get to react. Is this just the worst for you?
I will pay both of you $5 American to put paper bags over your heads so I at least don't have to look at your goober faces.
Oh my god, please. Do you have paper bags? I would absolutely draw Gunter's face on a paper bag and wear that. That would be hilarious.
Honey, do you have paper bags?
No.
No, he's got plastic bags, and
that
as
would
much
be
as I
all
enjoy
right.
that idea, I'm not asphyxiating myself.
Well, don't tie it then, Greg.
I still feel like with the inhale and the
Yeah.
either way. I'm sorry, I'm not up on my logistics of putting a plastic bag over one's own head.
You're not up on your autoerotic asphyxiation?
I am not.
Well, then what are you gonna do when you get to your endgame scenarios, Greg?
Not that.
Not that. Yep, that's not. That is not Gunter's fetish.
Alright.
Anyway, sorry.
It.
Just remembered a thing I saw the other day.
Okay.
I think we are very clear, Olga, that there is not a room for you, whether it is physical or otherwise, in this shelter.
She
And the last thing, at that, both Anna and Wojtek take a few steps forward.
Okay. I don't really. It's tough because on the one hand we've sort of set up this characterization of Olga as someone who would like continue to escalate. Like she's not just gonna back down. But also like I feel like that just ends in a fight.
So
I don't know if that's what we want.
fuck him up.
Fuck him up.
There's 2 of you and 3 animals.
That's true. One on one.
It does seem like we have very much the advantage here.
We do, yeah, and she would know that.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, I mean,
If
especially.
Changa wasn't right behind her and like was somewhere else, that would be a different story. But with Changa
Right.
being right behind her,
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, yeah, she knows she's effectively beaten. You're advancing, which I think is the big thing. Like, before it was pretty low stakes. She was just kind of throwing it around. Now it's like, oh, okay, they might actually shoot me. She basically says, all right, fine, I get it. Poor little me, retreating back out into the cold. But don't think I won't remember this, lovebirds. At which Gunter, I'm gonna intentionally reveal some information again.
Okay.
And say, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Yeah, no, you know what? This will be fine. Gunter is he's gonna sort of guffaw a bit, and he's kind of got this mix of elation at having like won the standoff, and also like a little bit of embarrassment because that's maybe closer to the mark than he'd like to let on, and so he's just gonna be like, "Ha, more like friend birds." Eh?
Mm-hmm.
You look like it should be a lot easier.
No wonder Alex is so good at
Oh my god. I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah. You can now take one of the others.
Hey, Pi, can you
Is
toss
that
me
me?
my phone?
Yes.
I made a mistake. Under my hoodie. Thank you. Sorry about that. Mistakes were made. On the upside, I did finally get my list of flavors. So.
This is the worst. Alex,
Damn it, Greg.
why would you do this to us? Oh my god. What should have just failed. Anyway, yeah, so he's I don't know, is that intentionally revealing something?
I think that's decently.
It is. I think. Well, so I think my idea with it was he is intentionally revealing that he considers you a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not just like rivals.
Yeah.
Or like whatever anymore. Like he actually likes you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I'm intentionally.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
That's kind of how.
So, at this point, Olga chuckles a little bit as she backs out.
Oh yeah, those are safe now that we've got 2 full rows above them.
I'm going to unintentionally reveal some information.
There you go. Good job, follow. Do that follow thing.
You want to grab that one that clearly doesn't fit?
Right? Yeah, that one.
I could.
It would work well in the middle of a
Honey,
row.
why?
A little too much ginger there for you?
I'm choking on a tortilla chip. Don't mind me. My boyfriend's just an idiot. What?
I knew
What
that
did
one
you-
was easy.
Yeah, no. No, the
God damn it, Greg.
I'm helping.
You call this helping?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I don't know if you boys and girls at home can fully appreciate the nonsense that Greg has pulled here and the very twisted Jenga
Are you getting
tower.
nervous? Are you worried the tower's gonna fall? Fucking full fist.
Yep.
Just no fear.
Nope. None at all. That's right.
Anyway,
There we go.
No, just this. My job is actually hard. People do not appreciate that my job is actually really fucking.
Fair enough. Alright. This frigid bitch, she won't even die in the cold. Hoping not to encounter her again for what she did to Wojtek. We seem to run in the same circles and same locations.
This is so cheesy. It hurts me.
That's you gotta play to the cheese, you
Yep.
know. I am going to check off another star. Here we go, 2 stars in one scene.
Dang.
Here we go. We gotta get above 10. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Yep. Gaming this thing.
Gaming, well, sort of though. I had actually been intending to do this longer than I had been intending to reveal information. Gunter's gonna again continuing a little bit of the awkwardness, but also trying to like reassure Anna.
Mhm.
He's gonna step a little bit closer and be like, "Hey, but we did it, huh?" And sort of like pat her on the back, not full on like bro pat,
Yeah.
but like hey, friendly pat on the back
Okay.
type thing. Like, hey, we drove her off, no big deal. Good enough.
Oh, goodness.
I almost feel like it would be better if we got this one out of here.
No.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Anyway,
Yeah. So
When Greg's ready to go home, we'll just
patting you comfortably or comfortingly on the back. It's like, hey, we did it though. She's gone. We don't have to worry about her, eh?
Anna just starts to she was like stiff and like just tense and ready to go, and that just seems to start leaving.
Oh right, you're still holding a gun.
I'm still holding a gun, like facing the door, and then as you do that, the gun gets lower and it says, Yes, thank goodness she's gone. Hopefully, we won't run into her for a while, but I doubt that is the case. That scheming mind of hers. She wants something from me here.
I kind of Gunter sort of glances around and is like, well, I mean, I had just come in to catch up and get out of the cold, but do you want? I mean, we could turn the place over.
She looks around a bit, then at certain underneath what seems to be almost like a pile of rubble. She looks at so actually clarification real quick.
Yeah.
When you're talking to other people, then
so technically the rule is when your character delivers a line of dialogue.
Okay.
It doesn't even have to be to
Okay.
me.
That's fine.
So it's
I just
when your
wanted to make
character
sure.
speaks. Let
Okay.
me confirm that that's true, but I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your character, however, can only speak when it's your turn to make a move, and you have to be touching the tower.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter to whom they're speaking. You can
Gotcha.
only speak if you're touching the tower on your turn.
Gotcha. All right. Wojtek, podnieś, and she points to like this larger beam kind of thing that's like fallen over this pile of rubble.
Sure.
And you see Wojtek move towards that and lift pretty much like just push and lift like this heavy concrete beam off of this area, which sort of reveals like a trapdoor-ish type thing.
Yeah, okay. So Gunter is very curious about this trapdoor and also like fairly impressed with your perception. Whatever. Gunter's not a wordsmith. He says, well, he doesn't even say anything. He just wordlessly steps over and there's like an iron ring on top of the trapdoor, kind of like pulls on it a little bit. It's stuck. You know, it's rusty. It's been there a while. But he does eventually. Oh yeah, with those biceps.
It's your back.
Yeah, probably. He does eventually work it open and
Okay.
sort of gestures down into the. I guess it's a ladder, probably.
Mm-hmm. While you're like struggling, Gunter is struggling to open the thing. Anna says, "Lift with your legs, Gunter. You can do it."
Thanks.
And then and then she walks up as the hatch opens, taking like a small light and shining it down. Yep, an old depot. We would probably be able to find some interesting things down there. Unfortunately, Wojtek can not make it down, but I doubt that Hagen knocked and can come down the ladder either.
Oh, certainly not. They're well trained and very capable, but ladders are a bit beyond them.
Thumbs.
What? And also, not being bipedal, I feel like is a problem.
Watch my dog try to get picked up, and don't tell me dogs aren't bipedal.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be seen.
That makes sense. Yeah, we explore whatever's down there, and you know, whatever's down there isn't actually that important.
Pretty much, they I'll end it as like, Anna leads the way, goes down the ladder,
Right.
and begins exploration.
Hard at work.
Mm-hmm.
Scene 4.
Yep.
I'm imagining. I don't know. I'm sort of imagining more of a quiet, although the next one is the quiet. But I'm sort of imagining more of like a settling into a rhythm. At this point, we've run into each other enough times that we sort of know like each other's movements. We know each other's preferred like methods of whether it's hunting or interacting with the environment or what have you. So we kind of like just wordlessly communicate, and so we're hard at work. Let's
I'll be right
say,
back. Just gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
I feel like maybe mapping out something. Like if we're explorers, we should do explorer things. So like
Sure.
maybe mapping out some new countryside.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
A whole new.
Don't make this any worse for me than it
No,
already
that's
is.
fair. I'm not gonna sing. Nobody.
Can't clear the rights. Twitch will cut off your feed.
Hey, that was less than 5 seconds. We haven't had any dessert ideas yet.
Well, no, you all have been talking and making me wildly uncomfortable, so
Well,
you don't
but-
get rewarded with dessert ideas, Greg.
Oh, the dessert ideas were a reward, making us ravenously
They-
hungry for something that we can't have is a reward.
Well, they weren't going to be rewards, but now that you're punishing me...
Did you see the cake that Meg made for me?
I did not.
So Meg made a cake for my birthday, which was very belated because we didn't manage to like actually hang out for like weeks. TikTok. It's hard to see.
Oh, yeah. At first I thought she made little, like, miniatures or something, looking at it from the
No,
angle
they're
like that.
chocolate swirls topped with blackberry.
Nice.
The cake is a pistachio cake, 2 layers with chocolate ganache in between, and like blackberry. I don't think I'd call it compote, but like that type of thing.
Like, sort of mashed up blackberries.
Yeah,
More like,
basically. And it's fucking delicious.
I've gone
You
from,
should be
like,
jealous.
Alrighty.
I have a cake. Right, so yeah, I think we're sort of just mapping out a countryside and doing that. So I'm gonna actually, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to miss this opportunity. I'm gonna start things off very forward.
Okay.
We're sort of like we're standing almost side by side on like on a hill, like overlooking, let's say, like an
Amanda!
Somebody walked over my grave! I'm sorry!
No, that's perfect.
I'm so
I was about to pull a block. So we'll say that. Well, okay, no, all right. So I'll do what I was gonna do.
Yep.
It's okay.
No, I wish I was dead.
No.
No, you're fine.
Don't. It's totally okay.
Yeah.
This was. I mean, we're only on scene 4 out of 8. This was gonna. I was gonna probably have to call this at some point. Obviously,
Yeah.
I mean it's 9:15.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
So what I was gonna do, and I'm actually glad that I had started to do this.
Yeah.
So we're on a hill overlooking an oxbow, like very Thomas Moran.
Yep.
And I sort of like I see something, and I really want you to see it, but your head's down. You're like, I don't know, writing something or drawing something. I take you by the shoulders and I like turn you towards it. And that's the thing that I do that gets me a star.
Yep.
So this is perfect. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. We get the bad ending. Although technically there's no bad endings. There's just different.
It's just
endings.
different endings, yeah.
Right. Okay. So, epilogue. If the tower falls, who was the last player to touch the tower before it fell? That player's character is the one to act on their feelings. This could mean anything as long as it undeniably demonstrates their true feelings for the other character. I'm totally just gonna like kiss you on the cheek. And Because on the epilogue chart, combined total affection score 1 to 10, it wasn't the right time. You revealed too much too soon, and the connection is irrevocably broken. You just fucking haul off and smack me in the face.
Yep.
That's absolutely what happens here. And you're like,
awful, but I approve of this ending.
no, this is great. Yeah, I like. There's so that's why I say there's no bad endings. There's just different endings. I think this is a perfectly this is a very Gunter thing to do. Like,
Yep.
he just gets ahead of himself. Yeah. So I mean, I kissed you on the cheek, and I think you just are not having any of it.
No.
Like, you're not in the same place that I am with this relationship, whatever it is. And yeah, I think you just like haul off and smack me, and like. I don't know, do you even say anything, or do you just stalk away? Like,
how dare you?
It's like pretty much something along the lines of it's not like that, Gunter.
okay.
My mom has been watching this stream.
Hi, Mom!
Bye!
What did she say?
She just sent me an email that only has the subject line, so why are you there if you aren't playing?
Yeah.
Because she's the peanut gallery.
She
which is a very, very important role
in these kinds of games. Is 100%
We-
necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's not like that, and then just walk away.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. So we could, if we had made it a little bit further.
Yeah.
We could not. There was almost no possible way we could have made it to even a higher tier.
Yeah.
So we can get a maximum of 2 stars each per scene, with a one-time 2-star bonus if we choose to act out of character. Which meant by the end of scene 3, the absolute most stars that we could have gotten is 10. Which is still not enough to get us out of the first bracket.
Yep.
However, if we had gotten an 11 to 13, passion burns bright but fizzles quickly. So maybe we hook up, but then we're just like, oh, that was awkward. Bye.
Yeah.
14 to 16, an uneasy intimacy. 17 to 19, sweet cherished love with the bitter certainty of loss. Honestly, I think that one's the saddest.
Yeah.
And then 20 or more combined total affection, attraction score, which is like everything. You basically have to do everything in order to get that score. Your mind is overruled by the frantic beating of your heart. Damn the world, from now on you only need each other. So that's like, that would be a lot. We'd have to like renounce our respective empires.
Yeah.
Or, as I mentioned, if we had made it to the end of scene 8 with the tower still standing, we would have had a situation where neither of us ever act on our feelings. The number of stars that we have is completely ignored, because the tower falling is the act of acting on our feelings. So if that never happens, nothing happens. We just go our separate ways. Maybe we know, maybe we don't, maybe we just don't admit it. But either way, no, I think this was a pretty appropriate ending.
Yeah. I feel like it was.
And again, a very Gunter thing to say.
Yeah, I had a few other ideas for like later on, which would have been fun. I was thinking for the disagreement becoming heated. Would have been like pretty much I see I come up to you with and you're talking with the with that family that I mentioned at the beginning, like
the Von Leipzig.
Yeah, the Von Leipzig. And like, just that's the catalyst for it, because they're like the name that I know that was them who like killed my parents and all that kind of stuff.
And then sort of there's this choice of like, do I take your side? Do I? Yeah.
And like that kind of disagreement. I was thinking like I was gonna try to build into that kind of thing. So yeah, but I think that was appropriate. I think that was fun. Yeah,
and it's a good game. It's definitely. So I think the reason that we say that the peanut gallery is so important is because if you don't have that sort of like safety nozzle almost to like let some of the pressure out, it gets too real. Like even if you're being deliberately goofy, as we were in a lot of cases, like you're just gonna feel the weight of the right. Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's a combination of awkward or it's like serious and intense, and you just need that. So I mean, this we in talking about this game had compared it a little bit to Fog of Love, which is another game that's very similar. Like if you don't have a supporting cast, is what I call them. Like it's just gonna get out of hand, I think. So
yeah, pretty much.
Thank you very much.
I think I function more as like a Greek chorus sort of function.
Yeah, I mean
than a supporting cast.
those were important too.
Yeah.
And as much as I understand Greek.
And then the Deus
plays.
Ex Machina at the end here.
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right.
But yeah, I mean, thanks for joining us on this adventure. Maybe we'll come back to it. Well, no, I guess we won't because I'll be giving it to me.
Well, we'll see if we ever get our hands on another copy of it.
Right. Alternatively, I mean, we know how to play.
Yeah.
I don't want to like bootleg a copy, but we can probably approximate the game.
We can use our own tower. What is it? Block tower.
Tumbling brick tower.
Tumbling brick tower. Because it's technically not the trademark Jenga.
Right. Very important. Please don't sue our acquaintance.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back on Wednesday.
With Charterstone.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
We'll be back on Wednesday with Charterstone. So if you've been waiting to get back to that, Dispaminite, I know you're all about that. Get ready for some Charterstone-y goodness. We're going to be getting back into it. I won't give you any spoilers, but things are getting really exciting and really interesting. And then I think the Friday after that, you said, or the Friday following that Wednesday, you said you were going to try to maybe make something.
We'll have some kind of a stream that Friday. I don't know yet exactly what we'll be playing, but we'll be playing something that Friday. So yeah, definitely come join us for that. And yeah, have a good night, everyone.
Later.
Me.